I'm Maya, the badass who built Vintner's Elixir Asterisk, a craft liquor brand in Portland, Oregon, from nothing but sweat and dreams. 7 years I poured my soul into this, every bottle, every recipe, every late night in the distillery. I thought it was my empire, my family, my future. But my husband, Liam, that snake, he crushed it all for some side chick and a dirty plan to steal my company. I'm still pissed, ladies. Can you believe it? He thought he could screw me over, but I made him, his mistress, and his deadbeat brother pay. Let me take you back to how it all started, to the days when I was naive enough to think Liam was my partner in crime. Back when we first got married, Liam was a charmer. Tall, sharp jawline, smooth talking. The kind of guy who could sell ice to a penguin. We were young, broke, and crazy in love, working side by side in our little distillery. I'd be in the back, tweaking recipes, mixing botanicals until my hands smelled like juniper and citrus. Liam? He'd be out front snapping photos for Instagram, captioning them, "My wife's a genius." I'd roll my eyes but smile, thinking, asterisk, this is it. This is our American dream. Portland's craft scene was buzzing. Hipsters, foodies, and bartenders all hyping up our gin and whiskey. We were the golden couple, chasing freedom, creativity, and success. God, I was so stupid back then. I thought he was my teammate. Little did I know he was just biding his time, waiting for his shot to stab me in the back. Then there was Owen, Liam's younger brother, the human equivalent of a hangover. Owen was a wannabe entrepreneur, always yapping about his million-dollar startup ideas, but too busy partying to actually do anything. The guy was a walking disaster. Think skinny jeans, man bun, and a vape permanently glued to his hand. He'd crash at our place, eat our food, and pitch ridiculous ideas like crypto-infused vodka. Liam's parents, classic boomers, were obsessed with supporting Owen's dreams. They'd call me up saying, "Maya, you and Liam need to help him out. He's family." Help him out? With what? The guy couldn't even keep a job at a coffee shop. I'd bite my tongue, but inside I was screaming, asterisk support his dreams? He's a leech who's gonna ruin everything. Ladies, tell me, have you ever dealt with your husband's family dragging you into their mess? Like you're just trying to live your life and they dump their drama on you? That was my world. Liam and I were supposed to be building Vintner's Elixir Asterisk into a craft liquor empire. Portland was the perfect place for it. Rainy streets, cozy bars, and a culture that worshipped small batch everything. We were the poster kids for the hustle, the couple who'd make it big. I'd spend hours in the distillery, the air thick with the sweet burn of fermenting mash, the copper stills gleaming under the lights. Liam would handle the PR, schmoozing with bar owners and influencers. We were a team, or so I thought. Looking back, I should have seen the cracks. The way Liam's eyes lingered on his phone. The late-night meetings he never explained. But I was too busy chasing the dream to notice the trap being set. Portland's craft liquor scene was cutthroat, but I loved it. The city was alive with ambition. Breweries, distilleries, and coffee shops all fighting for a piece of the pie. Our distillery was a tiny warehouse with exposed brick walls, fairy lights strung across the ceiling, and shelves packed with bottles we'd labeled by hand. I'd walk in every morning, the scent of oak barrels and spices hitting me like a warm hug. This was Asterisk, my asterisk place, my legacy. Liam and I would host tastings, pouring our gin for tattooed bartenders and food bloggers. They'd rave about the complex notes and small batch authenticity. I'd beam with pride, thinking, we're doing it, we're really doing it. But while I was mixing batches and dreaming of national distribution, Liam was plotting with someone else, someone who'd walk into our lives like a wrecking ball. I remember one night early on, when things still felt perfect. Liam and I were alone in the distillery after a long day. The rain was tapping on the roof, and we were sipping our latest whiskey batch, laughing about how we'd name it Midnight Rain. He pulled me close, his arms warm, and said, "Maya, we're going to take this to the stars." I believed him. My heart was full, my head buzzing with plans. I thought we were unstoppable. But that memory stings now, like a paper cut you don't see coming. Because while I was building our future, Liam was already laying the groundwork to burn it down. Ladies, You ever get that gut feeling something's off, but you push it aside because you want to believe in the fairy tale? That was me. I was so caught up in the hustle, the craft, the dream, that I didn't see the vipers circling. Owen was a nuisance, sure, but I thought I could handle him. Liam's parents were annoying, but I figured they'd back off eventually. I didn't realize they were all part of the same poison. Liam's betrayal, Owen's greed, and a family that'd rather see me fail than admit their golden boys were trash. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you how I started to smell the rot, how the first cracks in my perfect life began to show. It wasn't one big moment that tipped me off. It was a slow drip of weirdness, like a faucet you can't quite fix. Liam started acting off. He'd always been a talker, but now he was vague, dodging questions about where he'd been or who he was meeting. Just business stuff, he'd say, flashing that charming smile. But the smile didn't reach his eyes anymore. I'd catch him staring at his phone, typing furiously, then locking it when I walked by. My stomach would twist, but I'd tell myself, Asterisk Maya, don't be paranoid. He's your husband. He loves you. God, I was such an idiot. I should have known something was brewing, something that'd make my blood boil and my heart break. But that's the thing about traps. They're sweet until they snap shut. Let me tell you, ladies, when your gut starts screaming, you better listen. I was still riding high on Vintner's Elixir, my craft liquor brand in Portland, pouring my heart into every bottle while my husband Liam was out there playing me for a fool. The signs were there, creeping in like damp rot in a barrel, but I kept brushing them off, thinking, he's my husband, he wouldn't do me dirty. Oh, how wrong I was. Liam was sneaking around, and a new face, some yoga-posing, Instagram-obsessed brand consultant named Sophia, started slithering into our lives. My world was about to crack, and I was already feeling the heat. It started with Liam acting shifty. He'd always been a charmer, but now he was dodging me like I was a tax auditor. He'd come home late, smelling faintly of cologne I didn't recognize, muttering about meetings with investors. Investors? What investors? When I'd ask for details, he'd wave me off, saying, It's complicated, Maya, don't worry. Don't worry. That's my business, my blood and sweat. His phone was glued to his hand, always locked, and he'd tilt the screen away when I got close. One night, I caught him smirking at a text, and when I asked who it was, he snapped, Just work. Work, my ass. My stomach churned, but I swallowed it down, thinking, maybe he's stressed. Maybe I'm overthinking. Ladies, you ever catch your man acting like that and try to talk yourself out of it? I was drowning in doubt, but I still wanted to trust him. Then Sophia showed up, and oh, did she make my skin crawl. She was this brand consultant Liam hired for Vintner's Elixir, all glossy hair and fake laughs, the kind of woman who posts yoga poses at sunrise with captions like, Find your inner peace. Barf. She started popping up at our strategy meetings, which Liam conveniently forgot to tell me about. I'd walk into the distillery, the air thick with the sweet burn of fermenting mash, and there she'd be, leaning too close to Liam, giggling at his dumb jokes. She'd flash me a smile, but her eyes were cold, like she was sizing me up. One time, she had the nerve to ask about my gin recipe, all casual, like, Oh, Maya, how do you get that citrus note? I played nice, but inside I was screaming, Back off, you snake! She wasn't there to help. She was there to take something, my husband, my business, or both. The real kicker was the money. I started noticing weird transactions in the company accounts, big chunks labeled consulting fees or marketing expenses. Thousands of dollars gone with no receipts or invoices. I'm the one who built this business, slaving over stills while Liam played hype man, and now my money was vanishing? I confronted him one night in our kitchen, the rain drumming on the windows. Liam, what's this consulting crap? Where's my money going? He shrugged, all relaxed, saying, It's for growth, babe. You gotta spend to scale. Scale? He sounded like a shady motivational speaker. My blood boiled, but he just kissed my forehead and changed the subject. I stood there, fists clenched, thinking, this isn't right. He's hiding something. My gut was screaming now, and I couldn't ignore it. I started paying closer attention, noticing how Liam and Sophia would accidentally brush hands during meetings or exchange looks when they thought I wasn't watching. I'd lie awake at night, the Portland rain tapping the roof, replaying every moment. I remember the early days when Liam and I would stay up late in the distillery, tasting new batches, laughing until our sides hurt. He'd call me his alchemist, his genius. Now, he barely looked at me. I'd catch myself staring at our wedding photo on the mantel. Me in a white dress, him grinning like I was his whole world. Was that all a lie? My heart ached, but I wasn't ready to face it. Not yet. Then there was Owen, Liam's useless brother, still lurking like a bad smell. He'd show up at the distillery, reeking of weed, ranting about his latest startup. Liam's parents kept pushing us to invest in him, calling it family support. I'd snap back, "Support? He's a grown man who can't pay his own rent." But Liam would just sigh, saying, "Maya, he's trying." Trying? The only thing Owen tried was my patience. I started wondering if he was in on whatever Liam was cooking up. The thought made my skin crawl, but I had no proof. Yet. Ladies, you ever feel that itch, like you know something's wrong but you can't prove it? That was me pacing the distillery at night, the copper stills glinting like silent witnesses. I needed answers. So, I did something I never thought I'd do. I set up a security camera in our home office where Liam did his work. It felt dirty, like I was betraying him, but screw that. I had to protect myself. This is America, ladies. Cameras are how we guard what's ours. I hid the tiny device behind a stack of books, my hands shaking as I synced it to my phone. I'm not crazy, I whispered to myself. I'm just making sure. Deep down, I knew I was about to uncover something ugly. The distillery was my sanctuary, but it was starting to feel like a cage. I'd walk the concrete floors, the air heavy with the tang of oak and alcohol, and feel like the walls were closing in. Portland's rainy streets outside mirrored my mood. Gray, heavy, restless. I'd pour myself a shot of our whiskey, the burn in my throat grounding me, and think, Maya, you built this. Don't let anyone take it. But doubt was eating me alive. Was Liam cheating? Was he stealing? Was Sophia just a coworker? Or was she the match about to light my life on fire? I didn't know yet, but I was damn sure going to find out. One night, I sat in the distillery alone, the fairy lights flickering overhead. I held a bottle of our first gin, the one we launched together. I could still hear Liam's voice from back then, saying, Maya, this is just the start. We're going to conquer the world. I wanted to cry, but I didn't. Instead, I gripped the bottle tighter and muttered, If you're screwing me over, Liam, I swear I'll make you regret it. My reflection in the glass looked back, fierce and tired. I wasn't the naive girl who married him anymore. I was a woman ready to fight. Ladies, if your man's acting shady like that, can you just sit there? I couldn't. My blood was boiling, and I was done playing nice. The camera was rolling, and I was about to catch Liam in whatever web he was spinning. I didn't know it yet, but I was one step away from a truth that'd shatter my heart and set my world ablaze. Nothing cuts deeper than seeing your whole world crumble in a single moment. I was still clinging to Vintner's Elixir, my craft liquor brand in Portland, thinking I could save it and my marriage, while Liam, my snake of a husband, was plotting to rip it all away. I'd set up that secret camera in our home office, my gut screaming that something was wrong. But nothing could have prepared me for the gut punch I was about to get. The truth hit like a freight train, and it left my heart in pieces. It was a rainy Tuesday night, the kind where Portland's streets turn into rivers and the distillery feels like a bunker. Liam had texted me earlier saying he was meeting a partner at some fancy hotel downtown and wouldn't be home till late. Don't wait up, he said. Yeah, right. My skin prickled as I sat in our living room, the rain hammering the windows. I couldn't shake the feeling that he was lying. So, I grabbed my phone, my hands sweaty, and opened the camera feed from the office. I told myself, maybe it's nothing. Maybe he's just working. But deep down, I knew I was about to see something that'd change everything. The screen lit up, and there they were, Liam and Sophia, right in the office of Vintner's Elixir, my sanctuary. My heart stopped. They weren't working. They were tangled up, her arms around his neck, his hands on her waist, kissing like they didn't have a care in the world. My stomach lurched, and I gripped the phone so hard my knuckles turned white. I wanted to scream, to smash something, but I couldn't look away. The camera's audio was crystal clear, and what I heard next was worse than the kiss. Sophia, with her smug little voice, said, "Once we launch the new brand, we'll bury Maya's company." Liam laughed, and replied, "She won't see it coming. Owen's got the paperwork ready to front it." Owen? That loser was in on this too? I felt like I'd been stabbed. They were planning to steal my recipes, my brand, everything I'd built over 7 years and use Owen's name to hide it. Sophia was already name-dropping bar owners and influencers she'd charm into jumping ship. Liam, my husband, the man I'd trusted, was plotting to kick me out of my own dream. I sat there frozen as the rain roared outside, my vision blurring with tears. 7 years of grinding, of perfecting every batch, of building Vintner's Elixir from a garage to a Portland staple, and he was ready to hand it to that yoga Barbie? I whispered to myself, "You bastard. You absolute bastard." The betrayal burned like cheap whiskey. I thought of all the nights I'd stayed up, tweaking recipes while Liam slept. The weekends I'd spent at tastings, pouring gin for strangers while he networked. I'd carried us, and now he was laughing with her, planning to leave me with nothing. And Owen, that pathetic leech, was their frontman? I could picture him smirking in his dumb man bun, thinking he was some hotshot CEO. What a joke. He was just Liam's puppet, too spineless to pull this off alone. My blood boiled, but my heart, it was shattering. I kept replaying the footage, torturing myself, watching Sophia's fake laugh, Liam's easy grin. How long had this been going on? How blind had I been? Ladies, picture this. Your man, the one you built a life with, not only cheating, but scheming to steal your dream and hand it to some side chick. You feel that rage? That's what was coursing through me. I wanted to storm into that office, yank Sophia's extensions out, and smash Liam's face into the desk. But I didn't. I sat there, shaking, the phone screen glowing like a cruel spotlight. I thought about our early days when we'd dreamed up Vintner's Elixir over cheap coffee, sketching logos on napkins. He'd promised we'd conquer the world together. Now, he was conquering it with her. My chest ached, like someone had ripped my heart out and stomped on it. I kept watching, and it got worse. Liam bragged about diverting funds from our accounts, my accounts, to bankroll their new brand. Those consulting fees I'd questioned, all part of their scam. Sophia chimed in. "Once we've got the recipes, we don't need her. She's just the labor." Just the labor. I'm the one who made Vintner's Elixir a name. I'm the one bartenders begged for, the one who won awards. I was shaking so hard I dropped the phone, my breath ragged. The distillery's fairy lights, usually so warm, felt like they were mocking me now, twinkling over a life that was falling apart. I don't know how long I sat there, the footage looping, their voices drilling into my skull. I thought about confronting Liam right then, but I was too raw, too broken. Instead, I poured a shot of our whiskey, my whiskey, and downed it, the burn grounding me. The distillery smelled of oak and spices, but all I could feel was rage and grief. I looked at the bottles lining the shelves, each one a piece of me, and thought, they're not taking this. They're not taking me. But the pain was overwhelming. I'd trusted Liam with everything, my heart, my business, my future, and he'd thrown it all away for her. Ladies, you ever feel like your whole life's been a lie? Like the person you loved most was just wearing a mask? That was me, staring into the wreckage of my marriage, my business, my dream. I could still hear Liam's voice from years ago, calling me his alchemist, promising we'd build an empire. Now he was building one without me. I wanted to cry, to scream, but instead I grabbed my laptop and saved the footage. This wasn't over. They thought that they could screw me over, but I wasn't going down without a fight. I was Maya, the woman who'd built Vintner's Elixir from nothing. And I was about to show them just how dangerous I could be. The rain kept falling, the distillery's copper stills glinting in the dim light. I took another shot, my hands steadier now. My heart was broken, but my resolve was iron. Liam, Sophia, Owen, they'd pay for this. I didn't know how yet, but I swore on every bottle in that room that I'd make them regret crossing me. The fight was just beginning, and I was ready to burn their world down. When you catch your man betraying you, it's not enough to cry. You gotta make him bleed. I'd seen the footage of Liam and Sophia plotting to steal Vintner's Elixir, my craft liquor brand, right under my nose. 7 years of my life, my sweat, my soul, and they thought they could just take it? Hell no. I was done playing the fool. My heart was shattered, but my claws were out. I wasn't going to let Liam, his side chick, or his loser brother Owen walk away clean. This was war, and I was about to light it up. I didn't rush in screaming, that's what they wanted, an emotional mess they could dismiss. Instead, I got smart. I needed to hit them where it hurt, and that meant playing their game better. First, I called my friend Olivia, a lawyer who could make grown men cry in court. Over coffee at a rainy Portland cafe, the air thick with espresso and betrayal, I showed her the camera footage. Her eyes narrowed as she watched Liam and Sophia's little love fest, their plan to rob me blind laid bare. Maya, she said, we've got them. Fraud, theft, intellectual property violation, they're done. I nodded, my hands steady for the first time in days. Let's bury them, I said. Olivia grinned like a shark. We started gathering evidence, bank records, emails, that damning video. Every click felt like loading a gun. To keep Liam off guard, I pulled the oldest trick in the book. I told him I was pregnant. Yeah, I know, low blow, but screw morals when your husband's screwing you over. We were in the distillery, the copper stills gleaming under the fairy lights, when I dropped the bomb. Liam, I'm late. I think I'm pregnant. His face froze, torn between fake joy and panic. That's amazing, babe, he stammered, hugging me too tight. I could practically hear his brain scrambling, thinking a baby would complicate his little scheme. I smiled, sweet as poison, and thought, keep squirming, you snake. It bought me time, kept him distracted while Olivia and I built our case. Ladies, you ever played dumb to catch someone slipping? It's a power move, and I was all in. The confrontation came a week later, and oh, it was glorious. I waited until Liam was home in our living room, the rain pounding outside like it was cheering me on. I'd set up the TV to play the camera footage on loop. Liam and Sophia, kissing, scheming, laughing about burying me. He walked in, tossing his keys, all cocky, and stopped dead when he saw the screen. What the... Maya, what is this? He sputtered. I stood there, arms crossed, and hit play. Their voices filled the room, clear as day. Sophia's smug, we don't need her, and Liam's, she won't see it coming. His face went pale, and I pounced. You thought you could steal my company, my recipes, my life? You and that yoga witch are done. He tried to squirm out of it, of course. Maya, you're overreacting. It's not what it looks like. Not what it looks like? I laughed loud and bitter. It looks like you're a cheating, thieving piece of trash. I've got bank records, emails, everything. You're caught, Liam. He switched tactics, going for the sob story. I was just trying to build a better future for us, he whined. A better future? For you and Sophia, you mean? I shouted. You used my money to fund your side chick's brand. My voice shook, but I didn't back down. I was done being his doormat. Then, because nothing's complete without family drama, Liam's boomer parents got involved. They showed up the next day, all huffy, acting like I was the villain. His mom, with her perm and pearl clutching, had the nerve to say, Maya, you're being irrational. Liam and Owen are just ambitious. You should share the company for the sake of the family. Share? With those vipers. I laughed in her face. Family? Your son's tried to rob me blind. Owen's not a CEO, he's a parasite. His dad chimed in. Think of the baby. Oh, they were eating Liam's lies too. I didn't correct them about the pregnancy, not yet. I just smirked and said, your boys are going down and I've got the receipts. They left in a huff, but I didn't care. Their golden boys were about to crash and burn. With Olivia's help, I filed a lawsuit that hit like a sledgehammer. Fraud, theft of intellectual property, breach of contract. I named Liam, Sophia, and Owen, laying out every dirty detail. Olivia was a beast, digging up more evidence. Shady wire transfers, fake invoices, even Sophia's flirty emails to Liam promising big returns. I also reached out to our partners, bar owners, distributors, influencers, and spilled the tea. I showed them the footage, explained how Liam's new brand was a scam built on my work. Portland's craft scene is tight-knit, and word spread like wildfire. By the end of the week, their little trio was toxic. Nobody wanted to touch them. Ladies, you ever stand up to someone who thought they could crush you? It's like fire in your veins. I was still hurting. God, the betrayal cut deep. But I felt alive. The distillery was my battleground, the air heavy with oak and defiance. I'd walk past the shelves, my bottles gleaming like trophies, and think, this is mine. You don't get to take it. Liam thought he could outsmart me, but he forgot who built this empire. Sophia thought she could charm her way in, but she picked the wrong woman to mess with. And Owen? He was just collateral damage, too dumb to see he was being used. The fight wasn't over, but I was ready. I'd lost my husband, my trust, maybe even a piece of myself, but I wasn't losing Vintner's elixir, not to them, not to anyone. I poured a shot of my gin, the citrus bite sharp on my tongue, and raised it to the empty distillery. To you, Maya, I whispered. You're not done yet. The rain kept falling, but inside I was a storm of my own, ready to tear their world apart. When you fight for what's yours, you don't just win. You make the snakes who crossed you wish they'd never slithered into your life. I'd caught Liam, my cheating husband, and his sidekick Sophia, plotting to steal Vintner's Elixir, my craft liquor brand, with his deadbeat brother Owen as their frontman. I hit back hard, lawsuits, evidence, and a whole lot of Portland gossip. And now I was standing tall, watching their world burn. But victory? It's sweet, sure, but it comes with scars. Here's how I took back my life and learned some hard truths. After I dropped the hammer with that lawsuit, Liam, Sophia, and Owen's house of cards collapsed faster than a bad batch of moonshine. Portland's craft scene turned on them like a pack of wolves. Bar owners, distributors, even the hipster bartenders who used to kiss up to Liam, they all cut ties. My footage of Liam and Sophia's little office rendezvous, plus the bank records Olivia dug up, spread like wildfire. Nobody wanted to touch their new brand when they heard it was built on stolen recipes and my money. Owen's big CEO moment? Ruined. He got slapped with fraud charges from some shady investors he'd roped in. And last I heard, he was back living with Liam's parents, whining about the system. Good riddance. Sophia, that yoga-posing wannabe, thought she could charm her way out. She tried posting some teary Instagram apology, all "I was misled and I'm growing from this." Yeah, right. The comments tore her apart. Bartenders calling her a thief, influencers unfollowing in droves. Her brand consultant career? Toast. She slunk out of Portland, probably to go find herself in some overpriced retreat. I didn't feel bad for her, not one bit. She wanted to play dirty? She got what she deserved. As for Liam, he was hit hardest. The lawsuit stripped him of any claim to Vintner's Elixir, and he got nailed with fines he'll be paying off for years. He tried calling me once, voice all pathetic, saying, "Maya, can we talk?" I hung up. Talk? I'd said everything I needed in court. Liam's parents tried one last stunt, a family meeting to clear the air. They showed up at a coffee shop all stiff and boomer-like, acting like I owed them an apology. His mom actually said, "Maya, you're tearing the family apart." I laughed so hard I nearly choked on my latte. "Your son stole from me. Your other son's a leech. You want to talk family?" Olivia, my lawyer, was there, and she slid a folder of evidence across the table, bank transfers, emails, the works. The local press got wind of it, and a craft beer blog ran a story. Portland Distillery drama, betrayal behind the bottles. Liam's parents slunk away, their perfect boys, exposed as frauds. I sipped my coffee, watching the rain streak the windows, and thought, checkmate. Me? I came out on top, but it wasn't easy. I kept Vintner's Elixir, every bottle, every recipe, every damn dream. I won full custody of our daughter, Lily, who was born a few months later. Yeah, that pregnancy lie wasn't totally a lie, just early. Lily's my light, with her tiny hands and big eyes, and I'd fight 1,000 Liams to keep her safe. The distillery's thriving now, bigger than ever. I launched a new gin, Phoenix Fire, named for the way I rose from the ashes. At the release party, the distillery was packed. Fairy lights twinkling, the air thick with citrus and spice. Bartenders toasted me, calling me a legend. I stood there, glass raised, and thought, they tried to break me, but I'm unstoppable. But let's be real, winning doesn't erase the pain. I walk into the distillery sometimes, the oak barrels and copper stills gleaming, and I still see Liam's ghost. The late nights we spent dreaming. The way he'd call me his alchemist. It stings, like a bruise you forget until you press it. I lost my husband, my trust, a piece of my heart. I'd lie awake at night, Lily sleeping beside me, and wonder, how did I miss it? How did I love a liar? The Portland rain would tap the roof, steady and cold, mirroring the ache inside. But then I'd look at Lily, at my bottles lining the shelves, and remember, I didn't just survive, I won. Ladies, here's the bitter truth. Life's gonna kick you in the teeth, but you don't stay down. Men like Liam. Women like Sophia. Leeches like Owen. They'll try to take what's yours, but you're stronger than they'll ever know. I learned to trust my gut, to fight like hell, and to never let anyone dim my fire. I lost a lot, but I gained something too. Me. The real Maya. The one who built an empire from nothing, who faced betrayal and came out swinging. I'm not just a distiller, I'm a damn warrior. Now, when I walk through Portland's rainy streets, the city feels alive again. The distillery's my home, its warm lights and sharp scents grounding me. I pour a shot of Phoenix Fire, the burn fierce and bright, and raise it to the woman I've become. To you, Maya, I whisper. You did it. Lily's laughter echoes in the background, and I know I'm not just surviving, I'm thriving. Ladies, don't ever let them break you. Cry if you need to, but then stand up, fight, and take back your dream. You're worth it.